Thanks a lot for tuning in or checking back into Hawkeye's House of Horrors. And now I'm going to be bringing for you the next Howling film in that long-running series of films, and that's Howling 5, The Rebirth. Now, what I've done, I've actually got a new webcam. Um, it definitely is hopefully a little better picture, a little better microphone or audio as well. That was the one thing I wasn't loving anyways with my past videos was the audio. So hopefully it's a little better if there was any problems with any of the old reviews. Now I'm going to get into the next Howling film. It's been a while since I've done a review. I've actually been overdoing some other things. I've actually got YouTube videos on the Toronto Maple Leafs for any hockey fans out there, or maybe if you're a Toronto Maple Leaf fan, it's under Maple Leafs Manage. Uh, I've got a channel on there about the Maple Leafs, but anyways, I'm gonna jump back in when I can here and keep doing some movie reviews as well. Now, this is the fifth film in the series, and it was directed by Neil Sundstrom. He directed a lot of films during his career. This was the kind of early on in his film career. This was the third project he'd worked on. I'm not sure if I've seen any of the other films he's done, but one that jumped out to me is he did do another horror film or a slasher. It was called Slash from 2002. That was another film he did. Now, with this film, the story was by Clive Turner. Now, if you'd seen Howling 4, that name should ring some bells for you. He did do the writing and was a producer for Howling 4, but he's in for the next installment as well, and with a screenplay by Turner as well as Freddie Rowe. And the both of them did the screenplay for Howling 4. And I must say, I remember enjoying this horror film when I was a kid. Um, Literally, it's been 30 years since I'd seen it, and it still holds up. I think this is a much better film than the fourth one. Um, Following suit, though, with three onwards, it really has nothing to do with the rest of the Howling films, up to this point, anyways. Um, So there you have it. And then as well, it says it's based on the novels by Gary Brandner. Well, no, not really. No. But I think though that might mean that Gary did get a check in the end. I think this is an original story by Clive Turner. So there you have it. Now this one was not released theatrically at all. It was straight to video. From what I've seen, the year is 1989, but interestingly, I see that it was released on video on February the 22nd, 1990. So I think I'm going to put this as a 1990 film, whatever, but it was certainly a low budget. It had a budget of $2 million, or in today's dollars, 20, 24. I think it equates to about $4.8 million. That was the budget. Uh, that was for this film. Now, I saw this film twice. I watched it once. I was like, I think I'm still enjoying this film. I was very tired when I saw it, so I waited a while, maybe a month, and then I watched it again last night actually. And yeah, it sticks up. I would recommend this film to some certain people for sure. I like this werewolf who done it really. It does have a bit of mystery going on in it as well, which is different than the other Howling films as well. Um, Definitely, because it is straight to video, it does have that straight to video quality, if you want to say, or look. Maybe if you're of a certain age, you'll know exactly what I mean. Um, the kind of the turning of the 90s or the late 80s, there was a lot of straight to video, a lot of straight to video horror films, and they certainly had a certain look to them, and this one's got that as well. Nothing against it. It just has that look. So just to get into the story here, um, we start in Budapest back in 1489, and it's extremely snowy outside. Everyone in the we're actually in this castle, and everyone in this castle has been killed by this couple, this man and wife, I believe. They've killed everyone in there. So they decide to kill themselves and really cut or end this bloodline to this werewolf. That's what it's about, killing off this bloodline. Only to realize, as I think she's dead, but he's just clinging on to life. He hears this baby crying, meaning, uh-oh, the bloodline is still alive. We didn't kill everyone off. So there we go. Then we fast forward 500 years later to 1989. And a bunch of strangers, they have been given invitations to this very same castle, and it's going to be reopened after this 500-year gap where it was abandoned. So they're going there to check it out, if you will. All these people that don't know each other. I'll put that in quotations. So of these people, we've got a model played by Stephanie Faulkner, a photographer played by Ben Cole, a cute actress played by Elizabeth Shea, a horny tennis player who wants this cute actress played by Mark Silverstein. I would say a rich snot who has a wife who looks old enough to be his mother, maybe grandmother, one or the other. He's played by William Shockley. Another actress, she's very attractive, Mary Steven. And I remember her from the horror film House from 1986. She was also in a couple of James Bond flicks as well, Octopussy and A View to a Kill, a couple of 80s Roger Moore James Bond flicks. Clive Turner is one of these guys. Yes, so the guy who was the writer and one of the producers of this film. He plays one of the characters, as well as a doctor who had an affair with the rich, snotty guy, Victoria Caitlin. She was also in Ghoulies and Maniac Cop as well. And finally, we have a professor who thinks the castle has a past and it is being deliberately being covered up as well, and states he wants to go explore, played by Nigel Triffett. You know he's gonna die first, right? Because he does. And along with this group as well is the person who's given the invitations out to all of these people, and he is a count, played by Philip Davis. And unfortunately, he's not as fun as the count on Sesame Street. That is for sure. I think by the end, he's counting dead bodies as they pile up in this film. But there you have it. So the people are in this castle and they start dying one by one because, well, you guessed it, following the story, one of them is a werewolf. But the question is who? Who of this group of people is the werewolf? So that's kind of nice. It's kind of played out in that way. Um, and then as the story progresses as well, you see that each of these people have this birthmark on them on their arm, and that signifies that they're from this actual bloodline that was thought to have been severed, that wasn't, and so they're all from that bloodline. And then you then have to figure out which of them is the werewolf. Um, and the thing is, if you follow the story and ask the question as things are happening, who could be the werewolf? You might be able to figure it out, and that's okay. Um, And as I said, it'd been 30 years since I seen this film, and that was the one thing I remembered about this film. And spoiler alert, I would definitely suggest watching the film before seeing this review because I'm going to give it away. The one thing I did remember, and not much else, was the cute actress was the werewolf. I remembered that, and that was it. Um, but I do like, and I say this about all the Howling films, I like how this film is different than the rest of them. It's paving its own way, if you will. I'm going to see if that keeps happening because I have a feeling in the sixth one that might change because I think the cute actress, her name is Mary Lou Summers. I think she's in the next film and the film after that, I think as well. So maybe there is a connection to the other films somehow. They'll set that up. And I've seen that film, and dude, all I remember from that is I think there's a guy just roaming America or something, and then he joins a circus. I don't know if that's true or not. I seem to remember that, but anyways, when this film starts though, I like the feel, or I can get into the feel anyways. It feels like it's going to be a low budget Agatha Christie film with very heavy horror elements, and that's true. That's kind of what it becomes. I do enjoy when they get to the castle, they travel by bus to the castle, and the first time they're all together alone, they're having drinks and talking, and each of them they're talking about evil, werewolves, and history of the castle. It's a good way, I think, for the writers to get all of that out, certainly fairly quickly into the film, and set up a background and definitely lead you on a path to, yes, this is certainly a horror film. I think it succeeds in doing that scene. And then near the end, of course, I like this, and of course, it's a horror film, so this is going to happen. And it creates opportunities for people to die, and that's what happens. But they're split up into groups because they're looking for these missing people. And they search the castle in these groups, and some of those groups, each of them, in fact, come across something terrifying or horrifying that they then have to um, come across and try and get over through the film. Now, you never get a real good look at the werewolf in this film, which is too bad, I think. Um, I think they may have had the budget for it to have a look for the werewolf, um, but it makes me wonder a couple of things. Was the look of the werewolf not so good? Because what you do see of the werewolf is either in darkness or in shadows or just a part of the body of the werewolf, or if this was done deliberately to kind of step away from the other ones where they all had um, a significant scene with a transformation scene, anyways. Other than the second one really didn't, but you saw werewolves in it. But to step away from that and go maybe more towards the story or the mystery element of the story, to bring that terror out perhaps to the audience rather than going for gore or effects. So I wonder that. Um, One thing I loved as well, and it was in a funny way. There's a jail cell in the castle, and there's multiple people that end up in this cell um, during the film. It's more or less, nearing the end of the film, you're introduced to this cell and you see it. But in the corner, there's like these random human bones sitting there. And I'm pretty sure nobody talks about them or signifies them or notes about it or no discussion about that. And it's pretty funny because that's not commonplace just to see bones and human bones laying in the corner. So I thought that was pretty funny as well. Now, the music to the film was done by The Factory. Now, I'm not sure who the factory is. Was it a bunch of people or was it one person that went by that name? And I think this was the only film they ever did a score for, and I think it's good. I liked it. Um, I think it does have a catchy theme to it, of course, because when the film was released, it's very keyboard driven, which is fine though because it's good, it's catchy, and it works well enough with what you're seeing or what Sunstrom's bringing to the screen there for you. So it works. And then interesting to note as well, Turner, the producer, originally asked Cedric Sundstrom to direct, but he was busy making another film at the time, so he was unable to. But he suggested his brother Neil. So then Neil stepped in and directed this film. Cedric had directed a couple films of his I have seen were American Ninja 3 and American Ninja 4. Unfortunately, no, they're not great martial arts films, but um, I think there's at least five of those films out there, and I think he may have been busy actually making American Ninja 3 at the time of this film here. But there you have it. I do have this on DVD. It's actually Howling 5 and Howling 6 on the same DVD. It's kind of bare bones. There's not much to it. I think it's just the films. I'm fine with that. That's okay. I don't need 100 things on there to enjoy the film, right? But I like that. I would definitely suggest if you like mystery, maybe and horror, maybe this might be one for you. I definitely did like this werewolf film. So next up, I'll get into Howling 6. I haven't seen it for almost 30 years, 25 for sure. I haven't seen it, and I saw it once, so I don't remember much from it. But I'll watch that one and give you guys a review for that. So this was a lot of fun. So, anyways, have yourself an excellent day. Just before I leave, I wanted to wish everyone a happy Halloween. Woo, ah, 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 ah.